All right, what's up, everybody? Chase was singing like literally just a second ago, which is pretty funny. But nonetheless, we're coming to you. Just a quick little podcast. Haven't been with you for a couple of weeks. It's just been kind of crazy. But we're going to come to you with podcasts. And here's what we're titling this. It's the day before the election. We have made it. And so we're not going to tell you some of us have already voted. We're not going to tell you who we voted for. We're not going to tell you who we're going to vote for. We're not going to talk about any of that. We're just going to talk a little bit about like the day before the election, how we're feeling. If anybody has any crazy election day stories, I can remember several of them, but
You've had significantly more election days than Kayla and I have, though. So
yeah,
I was about to say.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the first election that I ever voted in was in 2000, and that election went, I think, to the Supreme Court. Yeah, you guys weren't even born. I think that one went to the Supreme Court.
I was born that year. I was here.
Okay.
I guess a month or two before Election Day.
I was 5.
There you
go.
4. I think it's that one went to Supreme Court, and because of some sort of issue in Florida it was wild, and I remember staying up all night to watch it with no winner, and it drug on and drug on and drug on. So I should have known in my first election day experience that the next 24 years is going to be insane. So
it never got any better, did it?
It's not gotten any better, honestly.
Yeah. No, the first election I really remember was the 2008 Barack Obama and John McCain. Okay. I was 8, so I didn't have any input. I could not vote, obviously, but that's the first one I remember. And then, of course, Obama and Romney in 2012.
Yep.
I feel like it's a name I haven't heard in a very long time, Mitt Romney. I don't know where that came from, but I've not heard that name in forever.
Poor old Mitt.
Old Mitt. But no, you talk about how we're feeling. I told Kayla earlier, I said, I feel like putting up my Christmas tree. That's what I feel like.
I mean, I'll probably be up.
Amen.
Watching it tomorrow.
Oh, 100%. I told my wife, I said, you know what? I guess we'll turn the news on and we'll put up our Christmas tree while we watch.
There you go.
I don't know. In all the chaos of the world, let's remember. Oh, in all the chaos of the world, let's remember the peace that is in Jesus.
I mean,
that's the thing. Like, whatever happens tomorrow night, my trust is in God. I don't really.
Yeah. Or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whatever. Right.
Right. Whatever happens. And, we talked about it at the beginning of the series when we started doing the podcast. We're of a different kingdom.
Yeah.
We should want the best for where we are right now, obviously, but whatever happens, we trust in one that's greater.
Yeah.
And I think, praying through who you vote for and having informative, educated voting, like don't just vote to vote or
100%.
Just assume because somebody you follow or celebrity you follow or whatever endorses a certain candidate or whatever, you kind of have to go with your own judgment and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, just thinking about it. There'll be a lot of people tomorrow, very nervous about the outcome on both sides, and oh man, if this person wins, then this is going to happen. I think that's really kind of one of the blessings about, being a believer or whatnot. It's like, well, God throughout Scripture has used all kinds of governments to advance His kingdom, and He does it in the world today. There's all types of governments and all types of leaders, and God still works in the nations and works through people. And the same thing is going to happen, whatever the outcome of this election is going to be, whether you're excited or disappointed. If you're a follower of Jesus, it's like, all right, well, now we get back and we stayed up, saw who won, but we continue to move forward and do His work and continue the mission. And I think that's one of more peaceful, calming things about it that you can just fall back on,
Yeah. Because this is temporary. Where we are right now is temporary. And, we're going to work hard to see to it that everybody knows who Jesus is and pray that they trust him. But, for a believer, this is temporary. So why get caught up in things that we can't control? That's at least
well,
where my
and it is temporary. I mean, it's it's 4 years. 2 years from now, you're back to midterms, and it might seem like a long 2 years or 4 years, depending on which sides you're on. But ultimately, it is temporary. And the great thing about where we live is that we, in a few years, we get another opportunity to vote again. And so it's just kind of one of those things. But it is kind of wild to think about that this is the day before the election, and there's been so much for like 2.5 years about this, and now here we are.
Yeah, it almost feels like maybe not like Christmas Eve or anything, but like
certainly
day
not
before
Christmas Eve.
graduation or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
well, you have that like anticipation.
yeah, I think
Because
that's what
this
I'm trying to
is
liken it to.
in the span of life. 4 years really isn't that long, to be honest. Like, if you think back now, I mean, COVID was 4 years ago.
Gosh.
But it's literally like, the outcome of this election, the trajectory of the country kind of hinges on, like, it's a,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it brings a lot of anxiety in a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
and excitement in other people.
Yeah.
So there's like this nervous energy.
Oh, 100%. And that is evident everywhere you look. Nervous energy all over social media and the news, and if you consume your time with that, you will be nervous as well. But
yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, is that there is a lot of nervous energy on either side, and
exactly.
There's polls and there's predictions and there's betting markets and all these things that are like, we think this is going to happen and this is going to happen. But I mean, anything can happen depending on, who turns out, who votes. And so it's just really kind of one of those things of like, it's nervous energy for it. But I think there's also a little bit of nervous energy about what happens afterward, depending on who wins or who loses or how tight it is, or if it's not tight, like, then what happens afterward, because you're going to have a significant amount of people that are disappointed no matter who wins,
Exactly.
and how do they respond? Right.
Yeah. I was just thinking that, what really matters is how we respond when we lose, or when your side loses, whoever. But how do we respond when we're disappointed?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of anxiety for that too. When if you listen to that kind of stuff like me, podcasts and things, I mean, there's a number of people that are like, man, I'm a little concerned about what happens afterward. And I think that that's why it's important for believers to pray and ask for the peace of God. I mean, yesterday that was what our service was, as a prayer service, but just ask for the peace of God to fall in the country and for there to be unity. And so I think that's all really important, especially if you're listening to this and you're a believer. I mean, that's our weapon, right? Is to go before the Lord in prayer, regardless of what the outcome is.
Yeah. Well, we sang the song yesterday in our service, "Heal Our Land," and that is most definitely our prayer. Is, whatever happens tomorrow, God, our ultimate prayer is that you heal our land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what you want, right? I mean,
and He can, and He can.
He can. Like, I'm in the boys' playroom, and I've used this before, but like in their playroom, it's like Psalm 133:1. Behold, how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell together in unity. And so it is one of those things where what our hope is that we kind of get back to kind of the days where, we go, we vote, whatever the response is, then we come together and push forward. Right. Because and that's what you're really hoping for. So, and that's what we got to be praying for. and that we would have some
Absolutely.
unity in the country. But yeah, we just wanted to hop on and do a quick little podcast today. Nothing major, no major topic, but just talk a little bit about, hey, it's the eve of election day. Tomorrow's going to be a wild day, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. But just pray and, just know that the Lord's in control, and just pray for his peace and his comfort and unity in the land. So we'll see what happens on the other side of this, and hope you guys have an amazing week, and we'll be back with you soon. God bless you.